Folks, I'm going to let Russell set this one up because I saw this one before he did. But, Russell just did a review of Matt Walsh's Am I Racist? And, look, it's irresponsible of Matt Walsh to go around providing spoilers for the movie on the press tour. You don't want to provide a spoiler on the press tour, but he goes a ways towards answering that question and giving away the ending in this piece here. So go ahead.
He really does. This was really interesting because Matt Walsh, he is a very, very smart guy. I've seen him in debates about things that he actually has taken the time to really dig into, and he acquits himself admirably. This is part of, I think, what distinguishes a lot of people in the modern day conservative movement in America. Their willful ignorance of broader systemic forces that impact people's lives. They absolutely refuse to admit the possibility that everything is not just, bootstraps and personal initiative. They are allergic to that idea. And in keeping with that, very often they're really incurious about foreign policy. And to be fair, Americans in general, you do see this on the left, particularly the social democrat left. Bernie was kind of an avatar of this incuriosity, disinterest in addressing foreign policy and how it relates to our domestic policy. We're seeing it very clearly in some of the policing and censorship tactics in our country. Chris Hedges will often point this out. What they do to people abroad, eventually they're going to do to their domestic population. So if you want to know one reason you should take interest in that, it's the way it's coming home to roost now. So Ryan Grimm actually confronts him, and it becomes clear very quickly that a lot of things he's talking about, he has no idea what the realities are.
Yeah, so basically, Ryan Grimm starts this line of inquiry, which is not featured in the video. Well, what do you think about the whole rhetoric around the Haitian migrants? Would you say that's racist?
Right.
And of course, Matt Walsh, no.
He goes right to bootstraps, right to take responsibility for your country, right to they're to blame.
Right. Well, first he says, we don't want America to look more like Haiti. That's where this picks up here. So should we go to the video? I think that catches us up.
Yep.
Okay.
Nobody thinks that it will benefit America to become more like Haiti. Nobody thinks that. Or I would challenge anyone, if they do think that, to explain how that's the case. Like, in what way could this country be improved by making it more like Haiti? When you look at Haiti, what part of Haiti are you saying to yourself, we need more of that?
Beaches.
Okay, so I just want to... Yeah, I just want to point this out. I just want to stop right here because this is the crux of what you get from conservatives. They will tell you that they're not racist. But in the end, if you remove foreign policy as a factor in different outcomes for different nations, what conclusion could you possibly be drawing?
Exactly.
Other than that there's something wrong with these people inherently.
Exactly.
That is the way. They won't admit it, but at core, they believe that non-Europeans are inferior. We saw it, not to rip open a scab, but that was something we looked at with the infamous Tucker Darryl Cooper interview, where he says, as Europeans, we really don't like disorder. It's that same mentality. You ever hear of Japan? I mean, they're pretty known for their orderliness. They see these countries, brown countries, black countries, they see them as inferior. They see them as inherently inferior. Because what else could they be if you don't have a foreign policy vision?
When he says we don't want this country to be more like Haiti, and if we let Haitians into the country, then this country will be more like Haiti. What is assumed in that formulation is that Haiti is in the shape Haiti is in because of Haitians. Actually, Haiti is in the shape that Haiti is in because of Americans, because of America, because of what America has done to Haiti as punishment for having a successful slave revolts. So it is not the fault of the Haitian people that their country is in the state that it's in. It's actually quite the fault of us. And that's what Ryan Grimm educates him about over the next couple minutes. And you could see he needs education. He has no idea what he's talking about. The more this goes on, the more you could see he has absolutely no clue about any of this history. Should we play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have more beaches than them too, right? Don't we?
Right.
We're a much bigger country.
Right. We don't want a marine invasion and occupation of the United States that constantly decapitates governments and takes the money out of the country and saddles us with
we don't want the Clintons
debt
either.
from a revolution. Yeah.
Right. Although I don't. So you're saying that
we wouldn't want to be like basically a colony that the entire West spends 200 years punishing after the Haitian Revolution.
I get that. I understand that, but also at a certain
we wouldn't want
that.
No, yes.
We wouldn't want that, but I would also say that that's not entirely why Haiti's in the position that it's in. I mean, at a certain point, as a country, you have to stand on your own 2 feet and take care of yourself. And
but at what point is that? They elect Aristide and we overthrow Aristide, and they elect Jovenel Moïse. Jovenel Moïse is assassinated a bunch of people with American connections, and then we install in 2021, like the United States installed the prime minister that we just ousted. Like, so we could say, okay, yeah, you got to get over the 200 years ago, but like we're still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not in favor of. I'm very non-interventionist in my policies, so I'm not in favor of most of the things that we're doing in other countries.
We just made the new government in Haiti in a hotel room in Jamaica, and then we insisted that whatever government we made in Jamaica had to allow Kenyan troops to come in under the flag of the UN in order to go to war with the gangs.
Yeah, I'm not interested in.
Right.
If it were up to me, I'm not interested in doing anything in Haiti. Like let Haiti be Haiti and take care of them. That's sort of my whole point here. Let them take care of themselves and their own problems. I'm also not saying that there's like never a scenario where we would let someone from Haiti into the country. But it doesn't have to just be about Haiti. But when you're throwing open the gates and just inviting anyone, in particular, third world.
I guess your assumption there was that it is Haitian people that are creating the conditions on Haiti, and that if the Haitian people come to Springfield, they will recreate the conditions.
Well, but I don't think you can
Haiti in Springfield. Whereas what I'm saying is that it's actually the U.S. that has largely.
Yeah, they have created the conditions in Haiti more than the Haitian people. That's the whole point. And he gave the same dodge that like the new atheists would give. Well, not Hitchens. Hitchens was a full-blown unapologetic neocon. But like Sam Harris would say when he's going on his Western chauvinist, anti-Islam rant, he would put in there as a caveat. Now, I'm not dismissing the impact of the United States misadventures in that region. It's just I'm going to say that for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to go on a 15-minute monologue about how the state of the Muslim world is only the result of their way of life and their point of view, right? And it turns out the people who are more nuanced about this are people like us. I do not dismiss the influence of the like illiberalism of like theocratic doctrine. Sure, that's a factor, but geopolitically, the number one influence is the terrestrial influence, not the philosophical influence. We actually exert physical and often violent pressure on these societies and orient them in a certain way. If you're going to have a conversation about racism, which is inevitably a litigation of people and their cultures and their way of life, if you don't know what you're talking about, the way Matt Walsh clearly did not in that example, and I would argue Sam Harris has a very superficial understanding of like the geopolitics of it all, then yeah, you're going to be exposed as someone who, just makes knee-jerk assumptions about people. And that is a form of racism. Like, I'm sorry, like I got into this a little bit when we reviewed the movie. Like the fact that you as a suburban white boy don't harbor conscious hatred of a group that does not automatically mean that your attitudes and behaviors toward these groups and the way that the system coalesces to treat certain groups does not represent what can be fairly called racism. And it's clear, I mean, he just has no understanding of that.
Yeah. In terms of Islam, if you've actually read the Bible, it's pretty illiberal in and of itself. The difference is European society was allowed to evolve secularism. When Muslim society began to have a similar evolution, we whacked out their leaders because we did not want them to have democracies in that region that would then vote to control their own resources. We whacked them out. We installed theocratic regimes, monarchies, autocrats like the Shah. They wound up this way because of us. It is not inherent in Islam. Yeah, there are things in Islam that are extremely illiberal. Read the Bible. No more illiberal than the Bible. The Bible is like something the Marquis de Sade might have written if he had been around 2,000 years ago. It's full of weird sex and absolutely horrific violence and a lot of crazy premises. The Bible tells you when you are menstruating that you need to go out of town for 7 days and dig a hole and then come back and sacrifice some doves. So I don't think there's anything in the Quran that's crazier than what's in the Bible. It's not inherent to what's in the Quran that the society evolved in that direction. It is our intervention, which again, these people who present themselves, Matt Walsh, I don't know if I could say presents himself as a public intellectual. He's more of a gadfly. The IDW people are really a fucking joke. I mean, it's incredible that you would present yourself as an intellectual and say things that are as fundamentally ignorant and ahistorical as they do on a regular basis. In terms of Matt Walsh, this interview does go on, and you're right. His interpretation of what systemic racism means is racism that's encoded in law. And he does not allow for any other form or manifestation. And Ryan Grimm rightly says, okay, so post Jim Crow, you get rid of these laws, but all of the players, all of the institutions are still in place that enforced that. You still have black people in these poor neighborhoods that had been created by Jim Crow, to which he responds, well, that's really class. Now, I agree that there is a class element to some of this. But you can't say entirely because, people will say Will Smith. Okay, well, people are usually not famous like Will Smith. A rich black guy walking down the street, driving down the road is much more likely to get pulled over. That is is it in the law? It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. That's a bias in society. Now, the film I recommended because I felt like the film really very specifically focused on the DEI grift, which that is something they all agree on that panel, that this is a grift. It's not helping anything, but it's stuffing a lot of money in these people's pockets. And Ryan Grimm also points out, which is a big part of my critique of it, and any person who's fairly evaluating it, I think. These corporations hire these DEI consultancies as a legal shield for themselves. That's why they don't care if it works or not.
Right.
They're just checking a box so they could say, what do you mean you're suing us for discrimination? We brought in Robin DiAngelo.
We trained you.
That's what it's there for. Yep. That's what it's there for. And they know that, and they are getting very rich, getting companies to pay them to do these workshops that don't do anything to ameliorate racism. So the film is basically about that, and it is very successful at sending that up and skewering it. As Matt Walsh demonstrates in this interview, like most conservatives, he does not really admit any explanation for racism that's not owed to something else and that does not also impact white people. Yes, there is classism. There is classism. And I do agree that often things that are attributed to racism have to do with class as well. But there is an extra dimension. There is an extra dimension. I've often spoken about, I grew up on welfare. I have experienced some of the class discrimination that you experience when you grow up that way. But I also got away with a lot of shit because I wasn't black. I don't have a record because I'm not black. There is no doubt in my mind when I broke into a corporation building and got arrested when I was 16, I got a light sentence because I was white. So there is an extra dimension that somebody like Walsh, that is really what makes him a conservative, right? That's what makes his arguments conservative. It's unfortunate because I don't feel there can't be a kind of honest conservatism that acknowledges a more nuanced view. But that's not the dominant strain in American society. The dominant strain in America, owing partly to our history, is, well, grab those bootstraps.
Please clap.